A very warm welcome to this episode of News Audit with me, Anupati Gaur, on Oneindia English. What is really happening in Myanmar? India's neighbouring country is in utter chaos ever since Myanmar's military on the 1st of February seized power and declared a state of emergency for 1 year. And this all happened before the parliament session was supposed to take place. The military put the civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi and other members of the National League for Democracy party under house arrest. The military also declared the national victory void and also backed the claims that were being made by the opposition party in Myanmar that a fraud was involved in these elections as Aung San Suu Kyi got a landslide victory. While the Election Commission of Myanmar, on the other hand, had called that all these claims that are being made are void. What is happening right now is that Aung San Suu Kyi and other leaders of the National League for Democracy are under house arrest currently. Aung San Suu Kyi has been charged with possessing illegally imported walkie-talkies. Many other NLT officials have also been detained and power has been handed over to the Commander-in-Chief Min Aung Hlaing. He has received international condemnation and sanctions for his alleged role in the military's attack on the ethnic minorities. The military says that it will hold a free and fair election once the state of emergency is over. The protests have erupted in Myanmar over the coup, and these are the largest since so-called Saffron Revolution in 2007 when thousands of the country's monks rose up against the military regime. The protesters include teachers, lawyers, students, bank officers, and government workers. Water cannons have been fired at the protesters and the military has imposed restrictions in some areas, including curfews and limit to the gathering. The United Kingdom, EU, and Australia are among the countries that have condemned the military takeover. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said that it was a serious blow to the democratic reforms. US President Joe Biden has threatened to reinstate sanctions. But all this said, what does this mean for India? Since India is one of the neighbouring countries of Myanmar and we share a close relationship with Myanmar when it comes to strategic ties and other business ventures, what is the kind of impact that India may have now that the military has taken control and the civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi is under house arrest? Well, India also joined other countries around the world in expressing concern at the military coup in Myanmar and detention of de facto leader Aung San Suu Kyi and said the rule of law and democratic process must be upheld, but didn't take a clear position against Myanmar's military. Now, if we look at the entire situation right now, China is in a unique position with the coup as its general policy is that it does not interfere in the internal affairs of a country. This time, New Delhi may even hold a marginal leverage over Beijing. India has a lot of shared interests, economic but more importantly strategic interests with Myanmar. There are about 100 Indian companies in Myanmar with investments over 1.2 billion. For now, though India seems to be in a position to manage its ties with Myanmar despite the power changing hands. India is likely to re-adopt the policy it formulated in 1990s to deal with Myanmar, which extends moral support for democracy while dealing respectfully with Myanmar's military. India has stepped up its strategic engagement with Myanmar because of the insurgent groups from the northeast which have set up base in Myanmar. But the biggest stake of all this is Sitwe in Rakhine province where India built a large deep seaport. The location of the port, which will play a central role in connecting the northeast region to the sea, and China's string of pearls policy are the reasons why India has shied away from taking a clear position against the generals. So now all eyes on what will be the future of Myanmar now that power has been seized by the military, what is going to be the future of Aung San Suu Kyi, and the protests are still raging in Myanmar. But in all of this, India is somewhere constantly watching and is observing the developments that are happening in Myanmar. That's all in this episode. Keep watching News Audit on Oneindia English.